like I said, I'm the most unlikely writer that TCU Press has ever had, I'm sure, because I never, ever set out to write a book. And, but the story evolved, and as I started researching, I was just curious. This is, well, my grandmother left me an old songbook, and her grandfather had left it to her, and his brother had written some of the songs in it. And but then when I found out that they still sang this music today, I got kind of curious about it, and I was fascinated. And my mother's cousin had done a genealogy of our family, and it went back 400 years, but it didn't say anything about who these people were. They were just, it gave the dates, when they were born, where they were born, and when they died. And but it wasn't interesting. It just didn't have any meat to it. And so I thought, well, I would like to know something about these people. And so I just became curious and started delving into their stories. But as my husband took a job that he had to travel, and it just so happened that we needed to, he needed to be in places that I wanted to do research. And so then as it came along, this story was there. It was just fascinating, that the continuity through the family and this music through the family that tied all these stories together. And even when I went back to Jamestown, the music that they sang was the same four-syllable music that we still sing in Sacred Heart today. And so all these stories were tied together, and I wanted somebody to tell it. Because I found out in personal things about these people that in historical context about what was going on and how they were involved specifically. And but nobody, I couldn't get any of my family to write it. And so finally, I just had to do it myself. And then I thought of someone, I couldn't get any, a publisher interested. And I thought, oh, it should go to the University of Virginia Press, because that's where it ended up, at Jamestown. I thought that was the beginning of it all. And they weren't interested, and my feelings were hurt. And I had a friend that taught here at TCU, and she said, well, why don't you try TCU Press? And I thought, oh, they wouldn't be interested. And so she took the steps of contacting Judy Alter, and they thought it was an interesting story. They wanted to read it. So that one thing led to another, and Judy had enough faith in the story and her editors that they could bring it to pass, and they did. And so we have a book now. It's called Legacy of the Sacred Harp, and it's not Sacred Heart, it's Sacred Harp. And the Sacred Harp is the human voice, and that's and I've used it as to have more than one meaning. That our Sacred Harp is our legacy that we leave, what we have said and what how we interact with other people is our legacy too. So it's got several meanings to Sacred Heart. Well, it's been a struggle probably for them as well as myself, but they know what they're doing and they're very good at it. And I think that probably as professional as anybody could find, any press anywhere. I just felt like it's not a mainstream type of story. And it's not an academic book either. If you've got a story and you know, and I think that's the most important thing, is if you have a story to tell. And if you have a story to tell, it's going to tell itself, I think. Yes, here's the book right. The background, they did a beautiful job of the cover. The old songbook is just tattered and torn and worn out, and she's got the page that wraps around of the old music, and the background of the music in the background. It's from this 1869 songbook that was my grandmother's, but the book, the music in the background is a song called New Britain, which is Amazing Grace. That was Amazing Grace when it first came out. Wow. And so people would recognize that if you could see it. So it's sort of a pale background music from the past that's saying that it's still there. They did a marvelous job of it. I was so excited. In fact, people have written me and said when they saw this cover, this woman wrote me yesterday. She said, when I saw it, I cried. She said, you just, I know that it wasn't probably planned, but the particular people in there have such significance, and I did not know that. I was sold on the story, that I knew the story was there, and but it took someone who had vision and knew how to bring it about to make it something that was actually a book. And the press they know what they're doing. They really know what they're doing. And Judy Alter, who was the director then, had the vision or the faith that something could develop with it, and the staff brought it about.